One of my new favorite characters said, "Remember, words, especially those written, are immortal."
This is Between the Bookends with Mindy and me, Scott Richards, from Bookends in North Myrtle Beach. We've got book recommendations, never reviews, just great recommendations.
Hi, book friends. Welcome to Between the Bookends, your friendly North Myrtle Beach podcast, where we celebrate what we've been reading recently. I'm Mindy from Bookends, here with Scott Richards, and we are excited to share some great book suggestions with you today. How have you been?
I have been very well.
Excellent.
And reading a good bit.
I think those two things go together.
They do, and I pulled a book off the shelf that we'll talk about here in just a moment.
Excellent.
From a long time ago.
Oh, so what have you been reading?
Well, I'm going to talk about Rear Window, the making of Hitchcock's masterpiece in the Hollywood Golden Age, Jennifer O'Callaghan. I didn't really recognize the publisher. Looks a little bit like a small publisher. As I started to read this book, now the movie Rear Window is an Alfred Hitchcock classic with Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly. I am a sucker for behind-the-scenes classic Hollywood.
I love behind-the-scenes anything.
I do. The stars, the studios, the directors. This book reminded me of one of my all-time favorite books. This book, my all-time favorite's The Making of the Wizard of Oz by Algene Harmitz. I bought this in 1977.
Wow.
And I have referenced it. I have gone back and reread it.
That's so cool.
This is the making of that movie from 1939. And it captures the power of the studio MGM.
Yeah.
All of the stars, all of the trivia.
Wow.
It is one of my all-time favorite books.
Very cool.
But you gotta love classic Hollywood, and you gotta love behind the scenes. How did they write Over the Rainbow? And who was the first person cast as the Scarecrow? And it wasn't Ray Bolger. Jack Haley, the Tin Man, was going to be the Scarecrow, and then he said, "I'm not that guy."
Interesting.
And the first Tin Man was Buddy Ebsen. And Buddy Ebsen had a bad reaction to the silver paints.
Oh.
So he was out, and Jack Haley
I've heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Rear Window, brand new book, Jennifer O'Callaghan. It's got a bunch of that, but it's very Alfred Hitchcock. And there's so much about the era. Number one, Jimmy Stewart can do no wrong. He is great. I have so much respect for Grace Kelly. She was glamorous, but she was, by all accounts, one of the nicest people.
Aww.
And it takes you through her tragic end. So it's more than the movie, but it's centered on the movie, and it's centered on the 1950s Hollywood. Hollywood was changing. I have not seen the movie since I read this book, so
that's what I was wondering.
I'm going to have to watch that.
Interesting.
Fascinating that, for example, he built a Greenwich Village in California. Much of it was underground, so they had cables and lifts and to make it all work. A just amazing exercise in movie making, and there's no CGI.
Right.
Everything
that's
was,
true.
How do I make this camera work?
Wow.
And there's a lot in there about the glamour of Grace Kelly and her costumes, her dresses. It's magical.
That's
the book
excellent.
is wonderful. Rear Window, the making of a Hitchcock masterpiece in the Hollywood Golden Age. Love it.
That sounds so neat. So my first book to share is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This is a reread for me. I read it last year, and I probably already talked about it on the podcast then. And I also probably talked about it at the end of last year as one of my favorites of the year. So here I am again because I loved it.
I know somebody that closed the book Thursday, Friday, and said, "I loved this book." And I understand that it's your book club. There were people that absolutely loved it, and then some people didn't get it.
A couple, yes. I loved it the first time I read it, and I loved it even more the second time around.
That says a lot.
It does.
Because sometimes they don't
They don't hold up. Right. It did, though. It is the story of 73-year-old Sybil Van Antwerp. And she's a bit cranky. She's a bit opinionated. She's a bit stuck in her ways. And I loved her.
Oh. But there were some people that maybe thought that was a less than appealing character.
Well, it can be. Certainly. Those are characteristics that aren't appealing until you kind of scratch the surface and figure out why. And I think there's always a why. I think for most cantankerous people, there's a why.
Sure.
And so that's what this book did. Is it is told in letters, which I think is phenomenal.
See, in the opposite of the cantankerous person, the always sweet, always nice. I'm not enough fan of that.
So I'm so suspicious of those.
Yes.
That's so suspicious.
Nobody's that.
No, that's
sweet.
no. I don't know what they have for breakfast.
I like to see it when they got a little vinegar.
Oh, yeah. And so the book is told in her letters. And the first time around, I found it to be just so quaint and lovely. And it really gave me pause. And I was thinking about the lost art of written correspondence. And, and that is true. But when I read it the second time, I realized that the device of writing letters is Sybil's way of controlling how much of herself she lets be seen. She's very reserved. And it kind of didn't occur to me the first time around to read it that way. So she's only divulging what she wants people to know. I think one of the first lines is she's writing to her brother and she's like, I have a bit of a problem with the car. It's in the shop. Yeah, she totaled the car because she's losing her sight. So the way she, the way she presents it and the story that you're not hearing is really, really kind of entertaining sometimes.
I love a reread of a book where you discover, how did I miss that?
Yes.
It's so important. How did I miss that?
It was just a different level. So the reader is learning a lot about her through her letters, I guess, but mainly through the other letters of people that she's corresponding with and that write her back and that kind of thing. So this time around, I really found a different and even deeper understanding of her character. It was fascinating.
Was it hard to read a book that is structured in letters? That feels challenging to me.
No, and I have to say, like, when done well, I think it's magical. It requires a little bit because the letter will start and it'll reference something that didn't actually happen, and so you're filling in the pieces, which I actually love. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? Oh no, she's just referencing like when we talked on the phone, like in the white space in between the,
right.
So it acts as kind of like they're giving you these little puzzle pieces of her character and you're putting it together. I thought that was really, nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, well, at least in this household, it got a very positive review, The Correspondent.
Yeah, so book club really liked it. We did that one last weekend. I think people mostly liked Sybil. I think it has all the feels. It gives you a little bit of everything. There was a tear. There was a lot of laughs. You come to understand characters better, and I always like that. Backstories are fascinating to me. So once again, I will recommend again, and again, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans.
I think that's great. Well, it's certainly a book of the year. I mean, people
It very well may be. It's actually, and of course, I do a deep dive in Virginia Evans. Her backstory on writing and how she got there was also fascinating. She seems delightful as well. So
I have discovered that the notes at the end of the book tell me a lot.
Yes.
A lot. And it's like, and I'm tempted to read them at the beginning, but I know that's not a good idea because some of the plots
could be right. It could be a spoiler, but it does. I can't imagine skipping that.
Oh, great.
No. Excellent.
Angel Down.
That was hold on. It's the winner.
The Pulitzer Prize winner.
Yes.
Right. I don't know how I missed it, but Angel Down by Daniel Kraus is from last year, the Pulitzer Prize winning novel of World War I. I don't know how to describe this. It is not going to be for everyone. It is a story of World War I that is as graphic and violent and horrific as any war book. But it felt perhaps the most representative of what it must have felt like to be in those trenches and in the mud and in the bodies everywhere. Basic story. This is it's a little off kilter, so you gotta like that style. The lowest of American soldiers are sent on a mission to take care of a screaming victim. Take care of means make him stop screaming. I don't think there's any indication. It's like, just bring him back here. And they have to cross no man's land. And these are 4 of the shiftiest, worst people in the American Army.
Oh, okay.
Or are they?
Oh.
So we learn a great deal. The main character is basically a gravedigger. But then there's a black soldier, there's a kid, there's a beefhead. And they go out and they discover what apparently is a woman caught in the wires, and she is an angel.
Oh.
Thus,
that's the screaming thing?
That's the screaming thing. Angel down.
Okay.
And they decide, we will bring her back. Each of them have their own motives. Some of them aren't great. Some of them are maybe a little bit noble. Some are trying to think in terms of spirituality, but it never quite goes there. The men are all transformed, some in good ways, many in horrible, bad ways. The book has a little sense of war is horrible, violent, grotesque. This angel could stop the war immediately, but how and at what cost? There's a lot of philosophy in here, and it's a very thought-provoking book, and I very much understand why it won the Pulitzer Prize. Not light reading,
right?
But I sure did want to find out how all this works. It's a quirky style. Every paragraph, every sentence begins with "and." And so he yells, and so he says, and it's too much. And so Bagger says, I
don't know the word for that.
I don't know the word for that either. After a chapter or two, it flowed. It's like, I get it. I don't really know why. I know there's probably some philosophical, that's its continuation story. I'm not that smart. Angel Down, Daniel Kraus, Kraus. It's certainly a very well done book.
That's excellent. I had heard another one of our customers talking about it, and it just sounded so intriguing. But she also said the graphic war was graphic war. So that's what's got it on the edge for me. It's
very graphic, and I mean, I haven't been to war, and I certainly didn't serve in World War I and in the trenches, but it sure felt like this is about as bad, and I don't know how one survives, even with an angel.
Right. Interesting.
Yes.
So interesting. All right. The next book is a true throwback to many, many years ago for me. So Bookends does another book club in conjunction with North Myrtle Beach Parks and Rec. And for this book club, we don't all read the same book. It's a very different kind of concept. There's a theme each month, and each member reads their own choice of book, and then we come together and discuss it. It's a lot of fun. You get a lot of book suggestions that you want to read later. Well, this month, the theme is reread an old favorite. So I went back to the series that I remember loving as a kid.
I see that over there. And I was looking at that thinking, like, is that a modern, something new come out?
It is a new cover.
But it's like somebody is reading it.
Yeah. So I loved the Trixie Belden series. Trixie is similar to Nancy. She's solving mysteries in her little town, you know.
Oh, Nancy Drew.
But, yes, Nancy Drew.
Is this sort of like the Hardy Boys for girls?
Yes, well, and that, like Nancy Drew, but for some reason, Trixie was my girl, not Nancy. No offense, Nancy, but Trixie I was just all about her. And so I went back and reread the first in the series to kind of recapture what I had loved about it, just to see.
What a great idea to go back to one of your childhood favorites.
And a lot of it did jog my memory and seemed a little bit familiar because, we're talking a lot of years ago. But I did realize that Kidlit has come a long way since then, and probably for the better. So these were originally written in the 40s.
Oh, my.
Yeah, don't even say that. I was not there in the
No,
40s.
no. But I didn't realize they were that old.
Yes. Well, so they were written in the 40s and then republished in the 70s. And I think that's when I probably got my hands on them. And the topics in the books were very regular. Like the things they talked about, I'm like, kids really had interest in this? This was the first one, The Secret of the Mansion. And there were topics like snake bites, wills, mortgages, chores, lots and lots of chores.
Wow.
And so I just kept thinking, these are very different topics from then and now of what is in children's literature. It definitely represented a lovely, simpler time, a more wholesome time, which I loved. But I wonder if kids these days would read that and think,
boring.
What is it? Yes.
Well, you sell books.
Yeah.
Do the kids buy the Trixie Belden books, or they're not really?
Well, you know what? They're actually super hard to find.
Oh,
and
okay.
so
it's not a regular thing.
It is not. But the Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys sell a lot. They sell to adults for kids. Kids do not pick them, which I always find fascinating.
Yeah. Hey, I read this. You're going to love it.
Right.
No.
And I'm like, well, I just don't know. So I love it. I will always love it. Trixie is just my girl, always will be. But as I'm reading it, I was like, this is definitely written by an adult trying to write for kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that led me to a book I read a couple of months ago, and it's called Make Believe, on telling stories to children, written by Mac Barnett. It's just this precious little book. He is a well-known children's author. He writes kids' books. This is his first time. This is an adult book, technically. He's currently the national ambassador for young people's literature. I didn't know that was the thing. And so he wrote this little novel about the importance of having children's literature that is authentic, not just to teach lessons and model behavior, but he encourages stories that respect the kid, the emotional depth that they're capable of, their imagination, that young readers, have a lot more that they can get from books than maybe what originally was written in the books. So anyway, it appreciates kids. So anyone that is into that or appreciates literature, I love children's literature, I always have, just from the teaching background. So he really kind of shows how good literature and kids need to and can connect.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it's a short, little, enjoyable read. Anybody that is kind of into that, it's a fun story. It does make you think about the importance and the impact and the quality of children's literature. Like, some of it is just a little bit fluff. Some of it might be a little bit outdated. Some of it is spot on.
Some of it brings back memories.
Oh,
it's got
for
a nostalgic.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So those two kind of went together because I was like,
wow.
Trixie.
You have two that go together. I have two that go.
Oh, excellent. Go for it.
Well, no, that was my first.
Your movie ones.
Yeah.
All right. How about it?
Okay. Christina Baker Klein, The Foursome. Christina Baker Klein has written many books.
Yes.
She was maybe best known for The Orphan Train.
Yep.
But I also love The Exiles that she wrote, and A Piece of the World.
Yep.
She's a really terrific writer.
This is so different. This is not his. I mean, right? Don't you think this story is?
Did you read this?
No, not yet. I saw what it was about, and I was like, I don't even know what to make of it.
Yes. So it's set between 1839 and 1885. I think I've got those dates right. In North Carolina, Wilkes County. So there's a little sense of awareness of the area. And the book centers on two families. Chang and Eng come to Wilkes County. They are from Siam. They're unusual. They're not black. They're not white. They're Asian. So there's a little skepticism. There's a lot of skepticism, but they're very successful people, and they run a good farm. So there's a little bit of grudging respect, and they have money.
Huh. Okay.
But they're also conjoined twins.
Oh.
They are Siamese twins.
Oh my gosh.
And they're conjoined somewhere in the chest hip area. So 4 legs, 4 arms, separate heads, everything's
4. Okay. Gosh.
And there are 2 sisters, and maybe you can see where this is going. There are 2 sisters, and they are burdened with one of the sisters' scandals. We find out what that is. Again, not too hard to figure out what happened. And they marry. So Siamese twins marrying the 2 sisters. ultimately, this is a book about what it means to be a family and what it means to be married to people that are different. There is a great deal about this book that is Civil War.
Oh, okay.
They are slave owners, and not everybody agrees that that's a good idea.
Right.
But they are slave owners, and they support the Confederacy, the brothers. And the sisters' family, many are not in favor of them being married. So there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of family. 11 kids, or maybe more. I think one sister had 11 kids. I know. Your head goes to like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cover that. We have to cover that.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that all work? And she goes through all of that in a sensitive way. And I believe the sisters love the brothers. The brothers clearly are a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to stop and think. It's like, so Aang wanted to have a glass of whiskey, so he got up. Then you realize, well, I mean, Chang had to get up and go to get the whiskey
as well.
Or any number of things. Chopping down a tree. Well, they invented an axe system that made them work twice as hard and fast. Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah.
But it almost didn't matter. It did matter, but it almost didn't matter. All of the children, there are tragedies. There's war. There's deprivation. There's hunger. Mm-hmm. It is historical fiction, and it is terrific. Christina Baker Klein, The Foursome.
What a topic. When I saw that, I was like, I knew she could do an excellent job with it. I just couldn't imagine it. So that is so good to know. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you something after.
My final recommendation for today is The Parisian Heist by Joe Piazza. And I really enjoyed this one because it had a little bit of everything. It has mystery, it has history, has a bit of romance, it has some twists in it. So I can't imagine a reader that there's not something in there for them. It's the story of a woman that has an original Van Gogh masterpiece that she has hidden from her family, and they have cut her out of the family wealth. And so she wants to sell this. She pulls it out from the basement and wants to sell it to get her share. Well, in the telling of the story, it flashes back to, 100 years ago, to another timeline of when that painting was created. And it gives this fascinating history of Yo Van Gogh, who was Vincent's sister-in-law. And evidently she was the integral part of making his artwork famous. Like, no one wanted his art during his life. His brother, Theodore, I think, was a big proponent. They tried and they tried and they tried. But
she was the one that made it happen.
So after both of the brother and Vincent died, it was her thing. I mean, she traveled, she promoted. So, and I didn't know any of that. So the historical part of the novel was all new information to me. So I was learning and I was in awe of that. So that was a fascinating component. And then there was a thrilling part that was in the other timeline that is modern day. They're getting ready to do a heist that the characters are planning, and I love a heist. That's exciting,
right? Because we're thinking, how would we do it?
Right. I was like, that sounds like a great idea. Let me take some notes. It also touches on the modern art market and how it's a little bit shady and between art forgeries and illicit dealings.
Oh, that does sound fascinating.
Yeah. The corruption of art, because art isn't appreciated for art's sake. It's appreciated for its commercial value. Very interesting. The details of it becomes more valuable if I keep it in the basement for a couple of years and then try to sell all of that. Right. I don't have art, so that was fascinating to me as well.
Or I don't think I'd have the patience to keep it in the basement.
No, I mean, so many things I just didn't know, but also the thrilling, fun component of the modern day timeline. So it was very interesting. It piqued all of my interest, and it was just a really fun read. It was The Parisian Heist by Joe Piazza.
I'd love it.
Yeah. So to recap for me, I read The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, Make Believe on Telling Stories to Children by Mac Barnett, because I read my old favorite Trixie Belden. And then The Parisian Heist by Joe Piazza.
I read Rear Window by Jennifer O'Callaghan, which is the making of that classic movie. And I paired that with The Making of the Wizard of Oz by Algene Harmitz, which is still a classic from 1977. Angel Down, the Pulitzer Prize winner of last year by Daniel Kraus. And Christina Baker Klein's new novel, The Foursome.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott, for all of your suggestions. Here's hoping that our listeners will be able to remember that words, especially those that are written, are immortal. Don't forget to stop by Bookends to find these titles and other titles. We'd love to see you in the store to browse the shelves, chat about books, and pick up your next great read. If you're shopping online, you can still support Bookends by ordering through bookshop.org. You'll get your books delivered right to your door, and your purchase supports our store, which we greatly appreciate. They even have ebooks if you are an ebook reader. If you are an audiobook reader, Libro.fm has these titles for your listening pleasure, and they support our store as well. So however you read, print, digital, audio, thank you for supporting Bookends. Happy reading.